Hello, friends. Look at me. I'm what's known in the internet world as live streaming. That's right. I'm live, I'm streaming. Ron Allen Salon is the first one to make the scene. Congratulations, Ron Allen Salon. Where have I been? I've been here, there, and everywhere, as the Beatles like to say. Here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, I'm alive. I've been at the end of a bottle of amphetamines. Let's see here. I think what I'm going to do is something a little different here on this stream. Let me just do the display capture and go like, yeah. New window. New window. Yeah. Make it big. Go to here. Go to here. Here. Change the camera. Oh, I see. This is owning the camera now. Okay, fine. Delete that one. As you can see, I'm having a little trouble getting started right now because I already fed you this morning, Trouble. Why are you back? Why? There we go. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Okay. So, I'm here. I'm queer. I don't want any more bears. What do I want to talk about first? I want to talk about my wallowing in wokeness. So, one of the things I've determined in my wokeness wallows of late is that I have been conditioned to gay male kisses now, such that they're no more or less uncomfortable than regular kisses. Yeah. Which is to say they're all uncomfortable. It doesn't matter who is kissing whom intimately, it makes me go like this. If it's like an intimate moment, I don't think I should be watching it really. I'm open for a question, Chrissa LP, sure. Question away. I'm chock full of answers. You got a new GMC? What's a GMC? I've been watching Netflix. Gay male cisses? I don't know what that is exactly.
Neither do I.
I mean, you mean they're cisgender instead of transgender? I've just been watching shows that have a lot of ultra wokeness to them. Some of which is done well and intelligently, and some of which is just cloying, perhaps would be one way to put it. Or treats me like an idiot. You know, it's like, it's really annoying when wokeness hits you so over the head with itself that it treats you like an idiot, you know? And I gotta say that sometimes, well, here's what happened. I was watching a show called The Magicians, right? And it was very effectively woke, quote unquote, for the first 3 seasons. It was smart. It was woke in the same sense that I'm woke, right? Which is to say correct. And then, clearly what happened is the ENTP stopped writing it and an ENFP took over. And it turned to shit. The first 3 seasons were great. Yeah, the first 3 seasons, right.
The first 3 seasons.
And then it completely falls apart. And why, Skygear? Why did it fall apart? Because the dude ENTP, who was writing it, got replaced by this chick ENFP, who fucked the whole thing up royally.
So, others agree with us?
Skygear does. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just...
and I felt so guilty for, like...
No, I knew it too, Rachel. I was just trying to plod through because I figured I was just close to the end, you know?
Well, I think still we should finish it.
Yeah, I think so too. I still want to slog through, or whatever. So, it's like, talking about The Magicians. I watched a few shows recently of Netflix originals, including The 100, The 4400, The Magicians, Your Mom's Face 24/7 Live.
Boom.
It's one of my favorite shows. Cherry Sherbet's good too. Well, I know I haven't been streaming much. Variety of factors. I'm trying to limit the amount of time that I am I guess limiting the amount of content that I'm putting up, putting up less content to be more effective at YouTube, and to stream less and to put a higher percentage of uploaded videos. What type is Diane? INFP? I would say INFP. Maybe ENFP. But definitely NFP. It's interesting how different well, they are functionally uploaded to a separate channel because the channel itself automatically divides things into uploads versus live streams. So, you know, I'm not looking for your solvency, Skygear. Shush. Talk us through your Inky Pink typing process, please. Well, it's really about, it tells you a lot about how a person relates to language. So, a person who's very effective at Inky Pinkies typically assumes a creative relationship with ideas. That's to say, an action relationship with ideas. Receive types can be okay at it, you know? But by and large, it's your action deliberators who are going to be successful at it, and it's going to be those who have expert intuition rather than expert sensing mostly. So the way of asking those questions is, I usually start with something very simple. Like I say, let's start with an easy one. I give a couple examples. I usually use mountain, fountain, and street meat as examples. By the time I've given those 2 examples, most people don't get it yet. So that's the first test, right? I give you 2 examples. Do you get what I'm talking about? An NTP, and probably only an NTP, is going to say and be correct in saying, yeah, I get the concept completely and I'm ready to do it. Well, but Elijah, the problem is the type stream category, whatever, it doesn't seem to afford me much growth potential. I mean, that's the problem. Is I just haven't. I've been doing this for a long time, and I haven't seen anything grow. That is an interesting stat. What about coming up with them? Oh, how do I come up with them? Well, trouble bubble. So the word trouble was just mentioned in the chat. So I just think, well, what rhymes? I have a lot of practice with it too. So I've got a lot of SI knowledge about how to deal with those things. Which is to say, I know what kind of things tend to rhyme easily with lots of words and which kinds don't. Like, ubble, trouble, bubble, stubble, hubble, rubble. You can use any of those. Okay, well, I mean, the nice thing about the Inky Pinky test is the answer is binary. People either get it in full or they don't. They fall short of getting it to some extent. To get it in full is to be able to explain it in full, the process. So, muffle bubble doesn't rhyme, but trouble bubble does, right? So a lot of people don't quite get rhyme. Like, I'm looking for true rhymes. It doesn't rhyme enough. No, that's not rhyme enough. We're not rapping, we're rhyming. So, the thing is, there are true rhymes and there are false rhymes, That's an NE test. That's an NE test is what it is.
What about apple and grapple?
Apple and grapple rhyme. So if you were to say a fruit wrestle, that's an Inky Pinky. So that's how I would come up with a clue for it. I try to think of a synonym for each one, right? Right. Wall fall, barrier drop. I usually start with barrier drop or dawn lawn. It's another easy one. Flying animal shit. Bird turd. Very, really easy. If you're looking at single syllable ones, you can find a lot of rhymes that are very easy. It gets more challenging when you're trying to find multi-syllable rhymes. So if I'm trying to find an inkity pinkity, I gotta think of banana, banana. First I think sort of the sound of the words like that. Banana, banana. And then obviously the first thing I said there lends to banana, but I don't want to use banana, so I'll think of something else, like delightful. No. Contribute. No. Let's say I want to start it with an accent on the first syllable, then I'll probably find easier rhymes. Attribute. Resonance. See, it's easy to find words that rhyme that aren't one word, like resonance lessens it or something. If you're trying to limit yourself to 3-3, you have to think some. Okay, like a souvenir boutonniere. That would work as a 3-3. So the way I try to do it is basically I just come up with a lot of possible examples. I think of 3-syllable words and try to come up with an immediate rhyme for them. If they don't immediately rhyme, I'll think of a different one. That's the process of the process of extroverted intuition. Pestilence. Does anything rhyme with pestilence? Not a single word. Gratitude platitude. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good 3-3. The insanity of hibernation. Crazy lazy. Or pizza pie delivery guy. I don't know. Turpentine paradigm doesn't really rhyme that well, but I guess turpentine. Yeah, I guess it rhymes. Pestilence quasi-lance? What? Yeah, so 3-3s are difficult to come up with, right? How good your extroverted intuition is depends on if you know. Okay, fine, it rhymes, I guess, technically. Turpentine paradigm rhymes, but I would say you'd want your rhyme to be ideally turpentine.
Does Strauss mouse count?
Strauss mouse counts, sure. Yeah, that rhymes. You're fine. I give you a full pass on that one, Joe. It's A+ work. You're fine. Okay. What would be a synonym of juggernaut? Like dominant. What do you want? Trouble, I fed you this morning. Trouble wants more food.
He's been. Oh, that's fine. I'll get it for him. He's been lusting after.
He's lusting after P and P.
So like, I walked over there, and she's on one of the chairs, and she's all puffed up like a loaf. And she's staring, and I'm like, is she staring at Trouble? Sure enough, lying down lackadaisically is him staring at her.
I think he really wants you to go appreciate the dead baby possum he brought us.
Oh my god, fuck.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Neither of us picked it up yet.
Ew.
I'll get it eventually. He probably wants you to go thank him for his conquest and gift.
I will with food.
There's a dead baby possum in the backyard this morning. Like, small, like, I don't know, this big. Looks like, I thought it was a rat at first, then I realized, oh, it's a baby possum. Anywho, if there's one thing I don't really mind trouble killing, it's probably possums.
Yeah, I agree.
Because possums are particularly gross creatures.
Thank you, Trouble.
Does he still have food from earlier?
No.
Alright, then yeah, give him more food. So, it's just, it makes me so mad, in some sense, that NFPs co-opt the correct parts of wokeness into bad art making, into their clusterfuck of incorrect, quasi-correct, who cares correctness, mushy garbage. I don't like it. I do not like it, Sam I Am. I do not like it filled with spam. I do not like it in your hand. I do not like it, Sam I Am. I do not like it with some cheese. I do not like it with some bees. I do not like it when there's knees. I do not like it, me, me, me. If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. Then you'll see some meow meow. Some meow never ends. It's true, meow meow never ends. Okay. Good. I think we got it fixed now. There. Now I've got baseball diamonds behind me. You think they're better songwriters than screenwriters? Who? NFPs? Possibly. They have some... I mean, yeah, well, look. I think in the ideal world, I'd stream once a day and probably upload one video a day. But it's difficult for me to execute a plan across time like that. Right now, I guess I'm feeling more clearly the pointlessness of excessive content than I normally do, and just how low my return to work ratio is, I guess. So there's a lot of work I put in for a very small return typically, and I'd like to change that. So I'd like to have a higher ratio. Meow meow, I love you. Hi, David Sanderson. How are you?
Is there coffee made?
Yeah. But the thing that people don't understand is that it takes time and energy to build up to being a monetized, having everything enabled kind of live stream channel, you know? Everybody's full of suggestions about what to do. I'm doing what I should be doing right now, which is do the thing I'm currently doing, but just do it in a much more NITE way. And, you know, it's like, I think today Rachel and I will probably make a video on characters from The Magicians and their types.
I'd love to do that.
You know, that would be, it's a pretty straightforward thing to do, pretty reasonable amount of work to get a video done. People have all kinds of suggestions and very little concept of the amount of work that goes into what they're suggesting. You know, you can accuse me of a lot of things, but you can't accuse me of being lazy. When it comes to this channel anyway, right? So it's just a matter of converting this similar amount of work into fewer amounts of videos, and that means more edited videos. Edited videos take time. Sometimes they, depending on my amount of energy I have to devote into it, sometimes they'll take more than a day or two, you know? I mean, you could accuse me of being... Okay, well, you can't accuse me of being unproductive. You might say that which I produce doesn't have any value, but I don't think you could accuse me of being lacking in productivity. And if you want to say productivity is measured in producing stuff. So that would typically run afoul of calling somebody lazy. There's a lot of different things you could call me, but I don't think lazy is a particularly correct term for me. Self-indulgent, maybe? Well, I mean, in some sense it's true that a feeling can't both be and not be in the same time, place, and context. But what I mean by that is that you can't definitionally preclude one emotion because some other emotion exists. So, whereas if you self-identify as a man, then we can logically conclude you don't self-identify as a woman, at least not right now. Because they're exclusionary of each other. But emotions don't have that same exclusive quality. I can be both happy and sad at the same time. There is no opposite of sad that precludes its concurrent existence. So that's what I mean by they're not subject to contradiction. Or they're not subject to binary distinctions and definitional limitations like that. Right. Well, sure. And if you want to reduce the emotion to a symbol and a sentence, then you can treat it as though it were a binary, but that's just, you're just playing word games. Rachel's making coffee.
I fed the fishes too. They're so cute. It's like the longer we are with them, I see like the personalities and stuff. It's cute.
I haven't even looked in on Lilu in a while. I wonder if he's okay or what.
Okay, so like, I definitely know 2 days ago he was moving. I saw him in there. I didn't shine a lot, so I didn't see him really well. I don't know how he's doing.
So we've got a miniature lobster, also called a crayfish, named Lilu, who seems to be just hanging out in his burrow 24/7. We never see him out and about getting food or anything. We used to at first. Maybe we need to put frozen shrimp in there and see if he goes out and gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we do that like tonight?
Well, we should do it whenever my dad's not home. We should go into the freezer and grab a frozen shrimp.
Okay.
I don't know. If he's not home, if you want to go grab him right now, it'd be great. But
I don't know if he's at home. I'll go check.
so part of the reason why I decided to do this via what's it called? Software instead of the webcam live stream is because the audio should be a lot better. I've not heard him cited before, or if I have, I didn't note it. It didn't stick in my memory. I've never cited him. We don't run Marxist shit usually. People typically don't. To run Marxism is to run a critique. So, if you're going to run Marxism, going in on a given round that there's a affirmation topic that the affirmative either has to affirm a resolution that would seem to be adjusting existing capitalism without critiquing it, I guess. And then you'd run Marxism as a critique. I mean, because remember that it's silly to argue something like Marxism itself, right? It's not a resolution, and it's not a plan. It's not something that one can really argue. One can argue two things: resolutions and plans. If you want to argue something like the Marxist perspective is then you're bad at making resolutions, because the resolution should say, from each according to their means to each according to their needs, is a good foundational principle upon which to build society. That would be a good resolution. That's worth arguing, you know. And you have something that's narrowed down enough to argue. And it would have to be Wolf then who's affirming, because he's changing the status quo, which acknowledges that Marxism is stupid. Oh, cool. Put it near his burrow.
Okay.
So I'm taking questions. Anybody have any questions about anything? I'm taking prompts. Talk about meow is fine as a question as well. I'm drinking hot chocolate that I got when I took Delilah to Starbucks.
Hot chocolate, nice.
Yeah. I have not read Das Kapital.
You're so handsome. I love you.
I love you too, darling. So, I think what I'm going to do right now, because one of the reasons why I did this on software was because I wanted to play a song and have the audio come out better. So I'll play a couple of songs here. If you have any questions, put them there. I'll probably stop between songs, talk a little bit. I thought about titling this live stream Lunchtime Music Hour or something even, but I changed my mind at the last second. Would I rather wallow or wither? I'd rather wallow.
Me too.
Nobody likes to wither. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you. And you'll want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-dee-da, ba-dee-da-dee-dee, bum-ba-dee-da, da-da-doo. Bum-ba-dee-da, ba-dee-da-dee-da, ba-dee-da, doo-da-doo. Would you like me to throw that away?
Sure. Thanks.
So let's see here. Why of slot mechanics? I'm familiar enough with slots tend to manifest. What's the logic kind of presume consistency? Okay, so that's an excellent question, and one I've been musing upon quite a bit. So, let's say you're trying to describe SI and how it plays out in a given slot. You're concurrently describing how NI plays out in a given slot. And the challenge is that understanding of how definitionally SI and NI are on a continuum of knowledge. So to know things one way is to concurrently not know things the other way. To say you're a dominant SI user is to say your knowledge linking to the two physical fields. The other thing is, I think I've gotten the knowledge fields wrong on my original thing here. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I think that SI links to the external physical and internal physical fields, and that NI links to the external fields, both external fields. And the challenge here is this: when you think about knowledge, there's a presumed self that's in the middle that's executing these functions. But that self is actually being the functions. So if I'm an NI DOM, I'm consistently receiving information on the external metaphysical and external physical planes and deriving meaning from it. When I'm trying to know in real time, that means I'm knowing the timing of something, knowing when to release the bow or something, right? I don't have any views on that. Rocks or wins. Yeah, the formal name for that is slop. So, it's a sloppy waste of time. So slot mechanics, right. If you think about where you know, how you know, or whatever, so there's some coordinated spot between SI and NI that remembers people's words. But it doesn't seem to me that SI DOMs particularly attend to the extroverted intuition field at all. So it would tend to suggest to me that my tendency of my SI to attend a lot to the extroverted metaphysical field comes from the fact that I'm an NE DOM or NE above SI. I'll tell you what SI does is some things that happen that are examples of SI paying attention. I drive by some place and I remember this embarrassing experience I had there a long time ago. It just comes into my head as I drive past it. It used to happen a lot more. It's been some time since I was drinking, so that doesn't happen as much as it used to. But it used to happen a lot that I drive by some spot where I remember getting alcohol and then launching into some very, shame-shivery kind of memory. That would be an example of SI knowing from an SE prompt, right? you see something out in the world and you're prompted to know, to receive information about it from the past. Now, you could be prompted to know, receive information about it in the present, which is to say, based on what you're actually looking at right now and not based on your own experience with it. That would be an NI kind of knowing. The thing is, it's people know on both levels all the time. I know that that's a McDonald's without having to think about it. That's NI. But it's sort of like machine code level NI. And I may know that I've been to that McDonald's before, and that's SI. And most people will be able to know both of those things, whether they've been to that McDonald's before, if it's recently anyway, and also that it's a McDonald's without having to even pay any attention, quote unquote. Now, extroverted intuitor might be planning to go to that McDonald's and then see something across the street and go, oh, we could go there instead. Because who cares where we were planning to go into that McDonald's? So that's an example of extroverted intuition working off of extroverted sensing. Instead of let's reject introverted sensing, our plan that we remember that we already launched and put into place. Let's forget extrovertedly sensing executing that plan. Let's instead extrovertedly sense this other thing that's more serving my extroverted intuition, which says, here's a new idea. Well, NI works off both kinds of data. So it works off of meaning-based data and experiential-based data. It works in both external fields. And introverted sensing only works on one external field and one internal field. Right. Yeah, I mean, NI is how you know about the external world without linking to the self. No, it's not about looking into the future. There may be a component of it that predicts how patterns are going to play out, that anticipates the next trend or how a given thing is going to be, or knows ahead of time, so to speak, before the truth is ultimately revealed. But does not mean that NI is about looking into the future. In some sense, NI is understanding things on an eternal level, that everything's an example of a pattern that's come before. And that there's nothing new under the sun, it's just people reinventing the wheel. So remembering that all of these things are ways of paying attention. So what does it mean to say that you have homeostasis, tradition, routine, comfort, habits? It's a way of paying attention. So it says, I know what I've got ahead of me in the day. It's a very comfortable animal way of being, but it's not very broad-minded. You say that NI seems narrow-minded, but that's the opposite. SI is narrow-minded. SI assumes its own experience is representative of the whole, whereas NI is looking at things for what they are rather than how they express, Okay, I don't want to have this conversation. This is why I don't like live streaming much anymore either. It's like I don't want to continually teach remedial cognitive functions to people who are already convinced they know the answers and they're all wrong. It's fucking super annoying.
It's good seeing some familiar names around, like Ghost Rider. Been a bit.
Remember, all of these things are ways of paying attention. They don't exist independent of paying attention. Boba Fett, I like what you said there more than anything else that I've read here. NE generates, NI sucks it in and slots it. I like that. That's good sense.
I'm good, thanks, Ghost Rider. How are you? Aww. It's okay. It's okay.
Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what he'll call Christmas when they hire that firm to change that name. Gerald always thought there'd be chance enough to return to the work a laughter up. He'd get back to it eventually, and his visions piled up, and his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. And now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing factless to listless. So how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. And Gerald's feeling there's too much to do, and he dropped time in the underview. Too much to rebut, so where now and what? Too much time spent nitpicking the skew with you. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tasty spots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what he'll call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought. Well, that was nice.
That was nice.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
I think that calls for a bong rip.
Yeah!
Let's try a bit of the old magic melon. So,
Ooh.
I don't know if you've had ordinary melons before. Perhaps cantaloupe, perhaps honeydew, perhaps water. But have you ever had magic melons? Magic melons are either Rachel's breasts or this weed.
Aww.
In this instance, it's this weed.
Thanks, Ben.
Of course, my magic melons.
Aww.
I had a interesting experience at the weed store. There was this guy. Okay, I don't have any tips on how to recover your father from COVID. I removed this because I don't even want to discuss that topic. Clown, just stop, please. That's I put a little bit of magic in my melon.
Oh my gosh. I have to finish my bar so that I can catch up with you and feel that majesty.
I'm a very minded person. Well, I'm not medically minded in the sense that I don't have any cure for COVID. I have no idea. Get the vaccine. Don't get it in the first place. You already have it. I don't know. I'll tell you what I did when I had it. I ran around the block until I really thought I was going to die from lack of oxygen. And after that, my airways opened up. I coughed up some shit and, you know.
Ooh, magic melon.
Stuff's good.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you a head ringer.
It does.
It's just, from a, maybe not from a taste perspective, but from a head perspective, this stuff's fucking epic, actually.
Mm-hmm.
For cheap weed too. It's not it's not the most expensive weed. So I was at the weed store, and this is the cherry sherbet. Yeah, we've been over this objective personality.
I want to show you after this live stream. There's a scene in Mad Men that so it takes place in the 60s, obviously, and they're a bunch of they're a marketing agency, and one of the new things is amphetamines, and they have the they bring in a doctor, and they give it to all of the execs. It is such a funny scene. I'll show you after. Cause that's how they do it. The new doctor comes in and is got their little doctor bag. How was the cherry fritter?
It's stony too. You wanna try it? It's a little heavier, I think, than the melon.
Thank you.
As you'd expect. You'd expect cherry fritter to be a little heavier than melon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't put cherry fritter in a salad. Melon, on the other hand, you might well put it in a salad.
You can put this in a salad. I don't know why.
I've been wallowing in some Netflix wokeness lately. I've watched 3 seasons, I actually watched into the 5th season of The Magician, but first 3 seasons were good, and it was an intelligently woke show for the first 3 seasons, and it was a stupidly woke show in the last 2 seasons. With regard to that slot mechanics thing, should I interpret your answer to say generally that your dominant and auxiliary means of tension naturally dictate the ways we do or don't attend? Right. Exactly. That's a good way to put it, Dustin Salisbury. That an extroverted intuitor necessarily it's like this. I remember stuff on the extroverted metaphysical field a lot more than I do on the extroverted sensing field, on the external physical field. That would be inconsistent with being an SI knower. But the reason is because my SI and NI have a relationship that causes it's one way or another, I end up remembering words, even though that's not native to SI, right? So it's not the case that SI DOMs are good at remembering words. That would imply that they're directing their attention a lot to the extroverted metaphysical field. So, in other words, the introverted sensing function itself probably isn't married to a specific field, but depends somewhat on the slots, especially something like a knowing function. NI NITE. Well, that's complicated, I guess. The point is, the other way you could look at an attentional manner is as a perspective, right? If you're viewing life through a certain perspective, then you're paying attention to certain kinds of things accordingly. And you're accordingly not paying attention to other kinds of things. If your perspective is about your own comfort, when you're going to eat, your bodily state of being, what's coming up later today, what you got checked off the list, etc., then you're probably like an SI Dom. Because that's what your perspective is and your focus is. You come to trust more and more your experiential knowledge as you proceed through life as an SI Dom, because, of course, you're paying attention to your experiences throughout the day, especially that, how they impact your internal bodily experience. So, even though you're an SI Dom and should have a good memory, it doesn't mean you're good at remembering words or symbols or concepts. Cameron has been around this whole typology shit for ages now and still hasn't learned any really of the symbols or anything. It's like he hasn't picked up any of it. He's not paying any attention to the external metaphysical field with his knowledge function, with his learning aspect of it. He's not using SI as a subject on that field. A person is more or less big picture oriented depending on mostly whether they're a meta-analyst, analyst, executive, or executor. So the most big picture people are the meta-analysts. And because if you think about it in terms of frames and impacts, meta-analysts are frames and frames. Analysts are frames and impacts. Executives are impacts and frames. Executives are impacts and impacts. So what that means is meta-analysts are about what's the right frame to use within the largest frame, within the meta frame. Analysts are like, screw the meta frame. How do we best execute the right frame? And they don't really question whether the right frame is the right frame or not. Executives, they go, the frame is particular, so we know what we're trying to do here. We'll use frames to get that. So ESTPs, for them, framework is purely instrumental because it's TI only and it's not married to NE. Well, what I'm saying is to use SI as a subject is to willfully learn something. When I'm practicing something on the guitar to get better at it, I'm using SI as a subject. To use SI, to willfully attend via SI, is to repeat something to yourself over and over again. To remind yourself, don't forget, Eric, I've got a meow at 4 o'clock. That's using SI. So what I'm saying is that SI DOMs don't personally choose to willfully pay attention to the external metaphysical field and learn from there. That's being a subject. Being an agent is to know with SI. To know that my ankle hurts is to be an agent with SI. It's not, I'm not learning anything, right? To be an object of SI is to, for example, well, I guess that would be like, like when I have shame shiver memories linked to a given place that I see. Oh, I don't like driving by that place. I have bad memories associated with it. That'd be being an object of SI. So the thing about managing the mechanics, what makes it so difficult and complicated, is that to a certain extent, which fields are paid attention to via which function under as a subject, agent, or object. Right, you are a subject using SI. So I agree. Typically, the metaphor we concede to talk about this more easily is that there's a single self in the middle that's paying attention by all these things. But in reality, of course, the self is comprises those paying attentions. So you're right about that, but that makes it so you use SI as a subject. You're right. I'll try to say it like that. You use SI as a subject when you try to learn something, when you try to remember something. You use NI as a subject when you try to figure out a mystery or something like that, based on the clues that you've been given. But that comprises only some of the ways of paying attention that fall under the umbrella term SI. And the reason it comprises only some of those is because you've got these three variables there that all impact each other. SI is learning through repetition, but whether it's learning through repetition, things on the extroverted metaphysical field depends on the will of the individual. And you can force somebody who's an SI Dom to learn a bunch of stuff by rote, but like, for example, most intuitives, which is to say they have N above S, pick up cognitive function, language, and such without trying to, pretty naturally. So the thing is, that's what we need to figure out, is to what extent, it would appear that my SI spends a lot of time learning stuff on the external metaphysical field, but playing guitar, muscle memory is a form of SI as well, and that's learning stuff on the internal physical field. Like, I don't have to think about how to play a C or a G or a D or an A or whatever, Oh, we need to know. We need to see. We need to pen happenings down by a means to judge. A logic to life we divisively unlike, and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up in a means outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into when heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares our limits, hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. And Judy's always thought that she should have bought two when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and not, although she often call, she'll die. People everywhere gather up in a means outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We All partition directories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Boom! Thank you, Squirreling.
You're welcome, darling.
Well, Matthew Allister, I'm trying not to peek out the mic, you know. All right, I'll give my normal disclaimer. Remember, I did not write this song. I do not approve its message. I am myself fluidly transracial, but it is a good song. Some folk call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and kicking cans, and I won't do an damn so good to call me names. My daddy wasn't Willie Woodrow, he wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't need no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud of my knockout song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitar and I like fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul that the fan might play. You might call me a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Somehow I know I ain't out living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud of mine, I got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get a hit, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul that the fan might play. Blue-eyed Billy, feared and ready, I got to work just to be somebody. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud of mine, knockout song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get a hit, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get a hit, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Such a fun song to play, you know. It like sits right in my playing wheelhouse is the thing. Yeah.
You'll find another.
It plays like the wind. Hi, Bobby Ian FPT. Oh, you're a subtype of an ENFP? That means you're extra TE. Thanks, 69Q. That's called practice. It's one of those SI things I do to make myself better at stuff. The audio should be better on this stream as well, because it gets sent through the software. I don't know why exactly, but the software seems to take out some of the degradation from the audio that normally occurs via the webcam streams. I got a couple more songs in me before I'm done here. Have to bring up the old set list, Bobette list. If you've encountered I'm talking to famous people live stream before. You may have heard reference before to this immortal document. Set list, Bobet list. Now, what I'd like to do, though, is the following thing. I want to make this meow. I want it to be all the way long, but only part of the way wide. There we go. Now, I want to do something else as well. Bring this up, but put this smaller. And make it That's funny, Rachel. What a funny, wonderful lady friend.
Oh,
what a
my funny man. I love you.
What a wonderful life partner loving time. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. We have trouble with helping it sometimes.
It really.
We get a little moisture in our panties and... Alright, let's try this song here. The Santa Ana's from the east are blowing, driving down this mountain fire. So Grant and Lana had best be going, they had cut it down to the wire. And everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, the truck was piling up with ash. But Lana got the dogs in the Chevy, and Grant counted out their petty cash. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. 120 out but Labor Day, and that means cooking meat outdoors. Guy got distracted and fire got away. Now from Bradford to Arcadia they curse his name. Fire chased them west and down the incline until they reached the foothills below. Found a room cheap for the night online, at least now they had someplace to go. Tomorrow they'd evaluate their options now that their life had burned away. Lana's sister had a place in Laughlin, wasn't really any more to say. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. I played it well until I fucked it up. Story of my life. Sammy has a story that need be told, and this is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeb, turned 19, 4 years in and 3 kids weaned, weary now and questioning the White House. Agency out, based at discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. Is really just oppression, making sure those underneath them always run. They'll get 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise they'll get 21, and so forth, well up into middle age. What once had seemed to set him free became his whole identity. Now about another broken page. Agency out, basic discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. Offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody panic about the kids. Lock 'em up with extra dexedrine. Mathematics to produce success, or impose more unjust duress. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. They're making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression. By parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying, while they feed their fear of dying. Yeah, let's feed upon the futures of the young. Thank you. That was not bad. 30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's all below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm really wrong. Want direction and have all along. I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, this time I actually am doing it wrong. I added 2 bars that didn't belong. Doing it wrong. Thank you.
I was wondering. I was singing along with you, and I'm like, wait.
I was actually doing it wrong. I don't know how to play Wonderwall. Too much noise in the data stream, loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. Frustrations mean mistakes are made, until it seems everybody's throwing shade. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one willing to lend a day. Your uncertainty's implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. So that's a song that I always have problems with. Almost every time I play it. I appreciate your percussion, Rachel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a challenging song for me to play, regardless. Percussion helps. What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he very like Dan, who's a terrible man? Sort of like Jill, who can't pay her bill. Or rather like Jack, who's stuck on the facts. What's the matter with Sue? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Let's speed it up a little bit. Sue, will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Bren? She's been living in sin. She's been hanging with Jim. He's looking terribly thin. What's the deal with Frank? Stealing fish from my tank. He's colluding with you and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with men? From the feelings of Katie to the coldness of Sven. They talk about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days. Spill out the overwatered past, and whoever's left that's still okay, just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry again or at Neville again? Don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's medium hurt. What's the quandary for Liz? Did she fail a quiz? What's the matter with Drew? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? And she talks about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days. Paths that lead to lesser days. Smith till out the over. Smith till from the overwatered patch. Whoever's left that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. 'Cause each of us have much and gravely sinned. Throw up the hands, stiffen the chin. Catastrophe looms heavy overhead again. Time's gone will never be again. Thank you, thank you. Let's play let's play this song, Rachel, before we go. And then I think we'll probably wrap it up.
What song?
We can sing all the parts together if we want to.
Okay.
You want to scroll down when it gets there for me? Okay.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. And that's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. But flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone. I tried to steam, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities are breaking every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid. But still I need get out of me what's inside my head. Seems like everybody's so sensitive, so ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale, our capacity to laugh? The sense to know when not to well, and how to tip the golden calf. I tried to seem distract and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities are down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For me, sad for her unhappily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone.
Still I'm sad,
so sad,
so sad for me,
sad for me,
sad for her,
sad for her,
happily,
unhappily.
What you call sorrow,
I call sorrow,
I call
home. Blues that sink clear down to the
to the bone.
One part I'll be able to do where, what happened? Did it close out or what?
Oh no, it fell, so. Oh.
Let's see what happened. Is it still there? Yes, everything's still there though.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for your kind words. And yeah, so when this was written, this is the most recent song I've written, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's a new one. A newer one.
Yeah, it's definitely, or among the more recent ones I've written, for sure. Okay, so when I was younger, losing my hair many years from now. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. Rachel and I have lots of important things going on today. I'm not sure what, but I'm sure they're important. Don't forget to rock and roll.
With plenty of cheese.
That's right. I gotta go over to this one. Go to the meow. Go to the meow.